Make up to break up, that's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. It's a game for fools. Shine 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Shine 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Thank you. Wow, that was deep. The power of blue argonite. The power of blue argonite. The power of blue argonite. Give you that blue argonite energy, baby. Sending out that thunderbolt energy, baby. That thunderbolt. The Virgin is the thunderbolt. Well, y'all, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I'm your super funky host, Big Pontiac, baby, also known as 8 Wind, also known as Time Lord, Oshioka. I take all that energy, and I'm also the holder of the infinite spiritual ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. And I am also that one and only Galactic Daddy-O sitting on and welcoming all the Chocolate Mountaineers, oh hell no, to my galactic patio. From Minnesota to the universe. And tonight's special brew, making you want to envy me for the moment, is Guinness Extra Stout, because I drank all my Lenny Dunkel earlier tonight. So this is a little more. This is what we call a little more than a pint, but it is 5.6 alcohol. So pop them if you got them. And look at this. Ooh, look at those dark hues of rich caramel goodness. And don't you wish you were me right now? Don't you just look at this and say, oh, I wish I was him, drinking and waiting and anticipating that amber goodness. And we do not what was the word I was looking for? I can't think of it. But showing you again the unicorn, Luca, and you go one ringy dingy, two ringy dingies, three ringy dingies, four ringy dingies, five ringy dingies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have action. And we hold it like this. And we say, smoke them if you want them. I see brother PJ is in here. Brother Lobo is in here. Brother Lobo, I got to finish watching your latest show. I watched most of it today. Today was a glorious day. I got over 3 miles in pickleball dominance. It's coming. It's coming. I'm telling you, the pickleball shit is coming. Pickleball is really, it's like this. It's a defense. It's being able to return and then defense. But what I noticed is, I all my serves, I say I got one into the net today, 3 long, 3 long, one in the net, 3 long. That's it. Out of I played 7 or 8 games. I got 3 miles in. But what I noticed is, and again, it wasn't great competition today. Hardly a lot of people didn't come, but there's times people can back and forth with me. But there's times where on my second shot, it is like I can just unload to the line, and some people can't handle it. So it was fun. It was fun. It was fun working on my skills, keep getting better, keep staying in shape, keeping that cardio up, making your heart beat, getting them arms working. I got to put my weight bench together. I got to get back on the ropes, get back on weights, because I got this old man body up here, and I need to get them shoulders back like this, I need to get them shoulders back. Right now, you see it's a little slopey. They ain't wore them shoulder pads in years, but it's a little slopey here. And I think the shirt has got them hanger marks a little bit today, but that's okay. But yeah, so that was my day. My daughter ditched me again. My daughter ditched me, went to her friends. But I don't trip off that. I don't trip. I am fluid with being a parent. I am not that stickler parent to be like, no, chick, you can't go out tonight. No, I ain't watching. You sit there with your. No, I'm not doing that. Like, you make your decision. If you want to spend time with me, then cool. We spend time. So that's how I look at it. So she's at her friend's house. They love her. They don't mind her there. I don't really mind it either. So, because she was here, the day and age of the children. She got an iPhone 11, which is basically, I only got the iPhone 12 Max Pro, so my phone ain't much different than hers other than an extra camera. So it does about the same shit. It's just hers is smaller. So, if she was here, she would be in my room just chilling, having her own space. So it's like, I'm not rigid. And that's how being parents should be, because we're technically co-parents. She lives with both of us. And she sees me practically every day. So, I don't trip off that. And if you guys are in that position, all you can do for your children, especially as they get older, is just love them. Love them. Same way I am. Yeah, that's all you can do is love them. You can't be rigid. You can't tell them they can't do shit because it's your weekend. That draws resentment. And a lot of times, parents would be mad at the ex. I don't be mad at the ex. Like, I don't care. Whatever you do, chick, whatever you got to do, I really don't care. You want to bring my daughter over anytime, I told her. My daughter got a key. My son went and got her key because he lost his key and I was playing pickleball. So he went, but she got a key. Basically, anytime she can just come up here, get in there, settle herself down. And that's how you got to be. You can't be rigid. You can't try to, use that against the other parent, because that's taking it out on the child, So you got to be fluid. Being a parent, that's the if there's a lesson on being a parent, that's the main lesson, is be fluid. Don't be rigid and everything got to be in one way. Because I'll tell you this, the great generation, the generation before the baby boomers, that's how they was raised rigid. They was raised rigid. It was like, it's just one way. You got to go to church. You got to do this. It was a very rigid way. And it made these children that came into being was like, we're not going to be as rigid. And so we don't want you to go to church. If you don't want to go to church, you don't go to the church. You don't want to go grocery shopping with me? You ain't got to. I mean, it is rigid. They became more fluid in the way they was raising children. And so you had a lot of the great generation raising baby boomers. And hence me. I really wasn't raised in a church. I mean, I was exposed. And I don't care what nobody said. Catholic Church is still spooky in a motherfucker. That shit, you be looking over your shoulder like, I am pretty sure I just saw Dracula hiding behind that beam up there. I mean, it'd be spooky music. It'd be a spooky atmosphere. As I said before, my friend got ordained in the Catholic Church. And they gave us the strongest wine I'd ever had in my life. I drank some of that shit, and it was like cowboy, like each person drinking out the same shit. You know, this was like 86, 87, sometime back in there. And I took a hit, my friend took a hit, and the line went down. Luckily, we was the first two to take a hit, because I probably would have backed off. But he took it, I took a hit, then he took a hit. We was the first in line. So we wasn't drinking over nobody but each other. And we had drank, you know, out of the same cups because we had been friends for years. We played football together. But anyway, after a few minutes of listening to that, you know, whoa kind of music, you know, we was kind of creeped out. My friend leaned over to me and said, "Are you buzzed?" And I said, "I think so." He was like, "That shit, what was in that shit?" I was like wondering too, because all of a sudden the whoa music I was kind of grooving to. Me and my friend was both kind of grooving to, you know. So I don't know what was in that shit. Hey, woke sister, thank you. Oh man, oh, they are spooky, boy. Wapo, what's happening? Fluid got here where we are. Now, my peeps, there you go. Oh yeah, they're spooky, you know. So this is a grown me looking at this shit. And I'm looking at these walls and I'm looking behind the pillars, you know. It had me paranoid, like I had done some coke, you know. I'm up in there. Like I don't know. I've been to the basilica down here, just, you know, I went years ago just to see, and it's that shit is not changed. You go up in there and it's like it is. It used to be a Saturday midnight show called Creature Feature. You go up in that, it'd be Creature Feature like a mug. You be seeing the priest and the face will change, and then you look back at it and it's like it go back to its human form. Hey, JR, what do you think NBA mic'd up when you hear the players talk is more acting than real? You know, they've been doing that. They've been micing up players. As I said, radios and helmets. It's a movie called Paper Lion about George Plimpton trains with the Detroit Lions of like 58 or 59. When they make the movie, it's later. Like he did it for real in the late 50s, early 60s. They made a movie about it. At the dude from MASH, Alan Alden, played George Plimpton. However, one thing they show you, if you ever see this movie, it's called Paper Lion, is the radio and the helmets. They've had the radio and the helmets since the 60s technology. They put a regular radio, like a World War II walkie-talkie, you know, put the hearing unit in the helmet and the walkie-talkie with the coach. That's been around forever. They've been micing players up. I think there's one where Dick Butkus was mic'd up, if you can catch that and hear all that collision. So they've been doing that for 50 years. They've been micing players up for 50 years. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's trying to give you the feel of the game. But yeah, I agree. It's nothing but the incense would choke you out. And I got the sweet grass and the sage. I'm gonna have to go get some more. But this is the sweet grass, because I'm gonna send this out. But I got to get some more, because right now we are in the full moon. We are in the full moon right now, the blood moon. This is the sweet grass, and I meant to bring a lighter here, and I didn't. And then this is the sage. But I'm gonna get some more. I'm gonna send this stuff out though too. In the Palo Alto wood, and I meant to bring a lighter, but I didn't. I forgot the lighter. So yeah, but where I play pickleball at is on reservation land. So tomorrow I'm probably going to take some of this, and you know, it's the Creation Ball Field over there. I was looking, you know, I've really been looking at the reservation, like where can I go over there and find peace of mind? And sure enough, they create this ball, and again, the energy that's put on the ball field never leaves. It's always there. So they've given me an area, and it's a park on the reservation. It's open to everybody, but it's a park on the reservation. They don't give the people a break. They do not give the people a break. Let me see. Let me find this crap. Here we go. Um, I just hear spells, and I like to prepare you to dig what they say. So a spell I heard was God's perfect fool. God's perfect fool. That's a spell if I ever heard one. And then Roddy Ricch basically said what's his name? Everybody says Kodak, the Kodak dude, where he says, pull up. How does he say it? Pull up in the demon like I'm God. And Roddy Ricch tonight said, pull up with my demons. Or pull up with demons. Pull up and hang out with demons. He said something like that. Then another spell to be prepared to start hearing is don't tell me what to do. We're going to start hearing that spell probably a little more. Don't tell me what to do. I mean, you see how they put this stuff out there and they want this stuff to parrot. So just be aware. That's all I have to say is be aware. You better get glad you didn't pass out. Dracula would, oh my goodness, man, I'm telling you. The feeling I've had going to Catholic church since I was a little boy. The first time my aunt put a suit on me. I think she went and bought me a suit. I was young, like 4 or 5. She suited me up and carried a bunch of us in there because she had the beat ass kind of authority back then. She wasn't like that, but it was like we was going to do what the fuck she said do. Because my uncle was there too, her husband. I have white fragility. Am I okay here? Yeah, Anthony, you can hang out. I'm not understanding what that means, but yeah. Hey, Nico, what's happening? It's just art. I love art. I really love art. And with the new, what do they call it? ID, whatever, where they can put pictures, laser. This is laser done. This is all laser like printed. It's more realistic print. So I enjoy the art. I like art. So thank you. Do you think this was another staged event? Emotions seem more genuine. I imagine you're talking about the shooting, which we know why. We know the whys. They've been one to scare our folks. So I don't know much about it. I don't study that stuff because it doesn't really ring a bell with me anymore. And it's not that I am desensitized to it. It's not that. It's like again, what is the reasons? Why are they doing this now? Zach looks into all the days and the numbers and tries to come up with a why. But I look at it as like, I don't care. I really don't care because this is the same thing they've done over and over again. It's a play with the guns. It's a play with the race. They want you to race. Yeah, So yeah, I like this is the thing. This is the thing. I caught myself, but this is what it is. Is all these events? Well, what do they say? In every truth, there's a little lie, and every lie, there's a little truth. And so this is kind of that. There is a lie to it, but there's a part of truth to it. So did people get hurt? They could have. So, but I don't get emotionally attached to this. You have to be self-aware. You have to be really self-aware. And I'm not saying be paranoid, but if you stand in a group of people, you got to really check people out. When you standing with a group of people, you got to check people out. And if your nut meter goes off, there's a nut. You should be prepared for that. That's the best I can say. You should just be prepared for that. So that's how you got to look at it. You can't get emotionally and say, this makes me feel some kind of way because this is not an isolated thing. They got some DeVos meeting on the 22nd. DeVos. You mean DeVos family out of Grand Rapids that owns the Orlando team, Orlando Magic. Because Betsy, one of DeVos's was over the educational. She was a DeVos, but really she's the dude who owned Blackstone, Prince. She's a Prince. Rich, powerful people, something to do with the World Economic Forum. I bet they're going to try to disarm America. Of course, they've been trying to do that. That's been every time you see the Democrats in there, has been their agenda, from bump stocks, to trying to say hunting rifles is assault rifles. I mean, these is the people that fund the military. They know the difference between an assault rifle, because when they send the military rifles and they have to look at that shit, they say, okay, this ain't that. And they know that. So it's a game. It's a game. They'll sit, these same people will sit there and tell you that this M15s now, AR-15s, the smaller ones, but they know the difference between a machine gun, because they have to pass those budgets for the military, and they look at what the guns are, how many for machine guns, and they look at the specs. So when they come and try to say that the sporting rifles are that, they know better. They know better. They've been trying to disarm us, because if they want to do man in the high castle, the fake, as I said before, I said this a year ago. If they want to tell you the Pacific Fleet gets defeated by China, that's the whole key, is that fleet. That is where the Navy is going to be tested the most. And then they'll say, well, we can't stop the Chinese from invading California. But if we got all the guns we got now, we going to give them a hell of a fight. Because they wouldn't get defeated if it was real. They would get defeated if it was agenda. If they got defeated, we under agenda. So it's the same thing. They doing this proxy war. They can tell people in America, like Afghanistan, I've said it before, Afghanistan, all that money they poured into Afghanistan that went into all these corporation pockets. War makes money. They could have taken everybody out of poverty. Everybody. They talking about giving billions to Ukraine as a proxy war. Now, YouTube, is that against your guidelines? I don't know. Is that against your guidelines? Because this is what it is. Billions. And you can't say that the people that were mistreated in Jim Crow, that were enslaved during Jim Crow, so they want to keep your mind into slavery. That ain't it. It's Jim Crow. That was slavery. That was slavery. And that wasn't that long ago. Now, you telling me that the people harmed by that, the people driven off them farms in the South, you want to talk about mass incarceration, Jim Crow locked you up because you wasn't assigned to a plantation. You get locked up. You had to show that you lived on a plantation, or you was going from one to the other. They lie about the Civil War. It wasn't about slavery. Because if it was about slavery, they would have went south and started fighting, not going after Protestants in Kentucky and Tennessee. Hats from UN supposedly going door to door collecting our guns. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not going to get them. Yeah, they call it Vietnam was a proxy war. Korea was, to a point, and then they sent troops in there. I mean, they could have faced off with China then. That's why atomic weapons is bullshit. Because MacArthur was right. What MacArthur said is, okay, they attacked us. I was anticipating that. You say you got these bombs. Let's bomb them here, 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 and here, and we'll never have to worry about China again. And what did Truman do? He fired him because they didn't have that shit. They knew all they was going to be able to do is drop napalm on them. That's what they did in them two bombs. They dropped napalm on them people. Same shit they bombed them in Dresden. Ain't no nuclear bombs. They talk about that shit don't exist like they say. They got bombs that are called blockbusters that will blow up a block. Y'all, I don't know if y'all heard that. Blockbuster will blow up a block. They been had them. That's World War II shit. So you drop a bomb and it blows up a block. Remember when Trump was president, they said the world most explosive? That shit wasn't nothing but a regular bomb. A blockbuster is what they used to call that they blew up in Afghanistan was a blockbuster. That's all they got. They ain't got that other shit. Scaring people with that shit on napalm, killing people on napalm. Look, just go back and look. How if it was a true atom bomb, they wouldn't have been able to go and take pictures in there in months because of the radiation. But what you got? They're doing radiation readings on the people. You, as an individual, could not have stood in that ground for months, if not years, because you would get radiation poison if they truly drop what they said. So, hey, brother E, what's happening? Never the 1% owned slaves, and also there were black slave owners as well. I mean, yeah, but I'm saying that slavery shit didn't exist like they tell you. Directed energy weapons, but yep, nuke is fake. Oh, absolutely. I don't know. I'm not much of a conspiracy. See, that's their word too. What else I was telling you? You know, these parroting spells. Conspiracy theorists is a spell that was created in the Warren Commission started in 64, 65. The CIA invented that word. Conspiracy theorist is invented by the CIA. And it basically means you don't agree with the government. That's what it basically means, that you don't agree with the government. I think you're blacker than last time I saw you. Sitting there
nice
with
little production going.
Striped underwear.
Oh, damn, that looks nice.
Okay.
Is the mic in it?
Yeah,
that looks fire.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
It looks bright as fuck.
You're fucking my flow up. I want my gems to shine. That's why I got a lot of light on me, so the gems can shine.
Production's on the up, I see you.
No, not really. This is the bullshit. But something seems off today. This whole debacle in Ukraine makes no sense. Something is going down. Oh, it's gonna spread. You're already seeing they're gonna put Finland and Sweden gonna join NATO, and Finland, remember Sweden, you know, it's turning into war over there. But we'll see if it comes over here. But they destabilize the world already with this sickness, and this saying the formula ain't there makes no sense. You can breastfeed up to 5. You can breastfeed up to 5. It ain't that comfortable, but you can still produce milk up to 5. So I don't understand. Now women got to breastfeed and they can't breastfeed. Now I'll say this. If you've got a 1-year-old and he is not ready to be weaned off, and all he knows is formula, then yeah, because you ain't producing milk anymore. I understand it. That's the reality. A lot of mothers come off that. Oh, you going out?
Yeah,
Oh, bet. Oh, Joe coming through?
Yeah.
Oh, bet. Okay. Tell him that shit is dynamite. Do you think America will ever see international war on its homeland? History probably would make you think so.
You know how strong our military is?
But that is why they want to dearm everybody. Take all the guns away because they don't want us to be able to fight back. Right now we can fight back, street to street. We can fight back. Biden can say, we ain't got jets and bombs, but streets, you got to put people. I mean, what did Hamburger Hill show you? They dropped all them bombs on the hill. The people was just hunkered down. And once the bombs stopped, the people came back out and fight again. Remember, that's how it would be. That's exactly how it would be. We'd come out and fight their ass. My parents were watching this music show in all the countries in Europe, and it told them, watch, Ukraine going to win. By the time they gave them like 400 points, they won. Wow. I just talked to my aunt about that African bullshit and basically telling her we're not from there. We got drunk and tricked. Now people have control. Yeah, all that African stuff. That's why, Turtle Gang is upsetting. And I want to apologize. I'm going to say this. I'm apologize because I said I haven't met any noble Moors. That is not quite true. Now, I talked about when I first heard about a seer, I called Cheeto Paul. And Cheeto Paul, I talked to the Grand Sheik in Miami. I talked to him a couple times. From what I got out of him, he appeared to be a noble Moor. I'm sorry I didn't follow up. And so I've got to call Cheeto Paul, try to call him a couple times. I ain't been able to get through to him. But I want to apologize because I can't say anything about that Grand Sheik in Miami. He was in the neighborhoods. The temple is down there. He's in Miami. You might have to say Time Lord. I'm not sure which name he would know me under, but he could have been noble. I can't say yay or nay. So I was thinking about that, and I wanted to put that out there just to make it clear. But yeah, that Africa, but see, Turtle Gang is with a seer, and a seer shaky. I'm just gonna say it like that. I remember when I told F&M about that, and he was tripping. He was like, wait a minute. He's like, you bullshit. I'm like, nah, this dude, this is what he was pushing at the time. So, you scam me once, you still scamming. And he ain't scammed me, but he did scam others. And that's what it is. Looks like blue and yellow Golden State will win it all. I think so. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards since they knocked out Philadelphia, but I'm not surprised because they don't like James too, and they did not give James Oscar Robertson. I mean, they purposely made James do as much as Ben did. That is how they scripted for James. Remember, James played with a big dude that could play before. What's the dude from Atlanta? James played with him for years. James played with Dwight, and it didn't work out. But James was putting all that work in and trying to work with Dwight. But James was putting in work. Didn't put any work in Philadelphia hardly at all. Now, players get old, but in this day and age, players can pretty much play well, like Paul is still playing in your 30s. I know I didn't slow down until I remember I was 36. I led the semi-pro league in scoring. I remember they screwed me and didn't give me the MVP, but they handed out the stats. And motherfuckers was looking at the stats. And it was like 15, 20 games. I averaged 25 points a game. The dude they gave the MVP, which was on my team, averaged like 14. I averaged 25 points through the 20 games. And I had a couple game winners too. Hit a couple game winners. So you can play well till you're older, given the technology of the shoes, the treatment. The treatment is a whole lot different. But Chris Paul is better players than him. That's what I'll say. It's skillfully is better players than him. And these dudes, like I said, Chris Paul took Edwards' place in the All-Star game. That shouldn't be right. Capella, yeah, that trade ruined the Nets and Sixers season. That's the excuse for each team fan base. So I'm thinking Celtics win tomorrow, so the Bucks fans will say, hey, we had Boston up without Middleton. Yeah, that's true. It was. I see a Sam Jones last night, and as much as they pushed him, made me pause. It made me think they could be pushing Boston in there. So, oh yeah, we're under the full moon. As I've said many times, the full moon is 4 days before, 4 days after. So we're in the peak. The peak is coming in the next few hours. I still might make a run. Damn, did he leave? I think he left. He could have grabbed my lighter, and I could have did some cleansing with y'all, and I still might get up and get it. But yeah, the energies are definitely there. The energies the last couple of days, I've been meditating almost every day, and the energies are really, ramped up. So yeah, this time is the time to manifest. It's the time to manifest because life is like playing pickleball, back and forth. And they hit one back to me, and I'm like in a position in my life where that's easy. I can do that. I'm still going to barter because it's a situation where bartering is still there, but I've got it covered. I'm like, shit, you ain't said nothing. It's like, okay, I can see where if I follow through with this, the rest of the shit's going to be gravy and less. So it's like, I'm feeling my powers. I'm feeling my energy, and my energy is great. It's only going to get better. Again, we are in the long days of May where we are exposed. At one point, we're going to be exposed to almost 15 hours of daylight. And I'll say, take advantage of that. As much as you can be out in this next 20 days, because or up to the summer solstice, the 21st of June, because they bring summer in, the days start to get shorter. Isn't that some bullshit? Summer comes in, but the days get shorter. Up until now, we're going to see days getting longer and longer. Some nights, right now, you're going to hear birds chirping at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Sun going to rise. A lot of places, I live in, Central Time, so sun's going to be rising 4:30, quarter to 5. And don't go down until after 9. At the peak, it's going to go down damn near 10. So take advantage of that. If we start saying we're discussing actual public felonies instead of saying conspiracy, more people would really understand the seriousness of what we unveil. Yeah, researchers, that's a good point. That's a good point, because that's what a lot of it is. A lot of it is, or falsehoods put out by the government, which they've done over and over again. I mean, they have lied so much that they tell you where they lied. They tell you how they brought all them Nazis over here. They tell you how they gave a bunch of people LSD and they started the LSD thing out in California. Leary worked for them. Be Here Now is the dude who wrote Be Here Now. All of them is agents. The dude who wrote Be Here Now, as great as the work is, he's a Jewish faith cat that went over there to learn what they did, to learn that magical system. That's all he was. He was an agent. And as much as I love the book Be Here Now, the dude who went over there and wrote that book, it was a spy for the Jewish faith people. Because that's what they've done since their inception, is they see a spiritual system, they've got to put their nose in it. They control basketball. They control the energy of basketball. They understand the spiritualness of it. That's why they control it. Hey, James, thank you for joining, Brother James. So, all you have to do is control yourself and control your own thoughts. And like I was saying, being fluid as a parent, you got to be fluent as an individual. You got to see what the moment is. See what the real moment is. And use your timing to your advantage. Everybody has to pay attention to their surroundings. Everybody, all the time. I mean, these are dark days in a lot of ways. And we have, one thing that the crack thing did is the crack thing really more than ever, more than even the welfare state, more than even the welfare state, a lot of young people, crack affected, brains affected, emotions affected. And these people is in 1920, it was a football player in the last 10 years that was an admitted crack baby. They went through his whole story. He made it to the NFL from being a crack baby. Some of y'all probably know. I want to think he played for Cleveland at one point. But he was a admitted crack baby. So this is who, so we have like, we have the crack grandparents, say, the children from that had children. So you had a generation of children that wasn't raised by adults at all, because the adults that raised them was on narcotics. And then you got the grandchildren. So you had children that didn't really know how to raise people. And no, there's no map. But if you had zero influence and your only idea was adults letting you down, adults being addicted, I mean, even through what my wife did. My wife's mother was addicted to drugs. She sold her son's PlayStation to get drugs. I watched my wife do the same thing to my son. Exact same thing. Matter of fact, one of my gold rings. So, yeah, trauma is mind control. Yep. Hey, CW, how you doing? Yankees choked the game. Looked so scripted. Oh, I thought they was winning. To keep us in a childlike mind state so we never grow. And that's the technology. That's the technology. This technology ain't new. Shit, American God show you the techno guy been around for a long time. I'm the only one screaming about the me or the mine. The me. That's the thing. That tech been around for a long time. It had to wait. Whoa. It had to wait for us. So it released things that gave us the telephone. No, it gave us the telegraph. Then it gave us the telephone. Then it gave us the TV. Then it gave us the cable TV. Then it wanted you to think that it was a satellite going around there instead of just telling you they can put shit in the sky. They put shit in the sky, they can fly around the sky. They want you to think this shit is space. You close your eyes, all that shit you can see, when you truly able to be in control, that shit's around you all the time. It shares this same space. So, but it you know, the technology. What is the movie? Is it Crasterology, where it's got electrolytes? You know, you've got the big muscle mound man that said a dude grabbed his junk. You got him; he's playing the president. And remember the society that got so lazy where your easy chair was where you shit, and then on the side you had a refrigerator. So you ain't have to go get up to shit. You just push a button and the thing turns into and you got the old-fashioned onesie where you can just unsnap it and just shit while you're right there sitting down. Ain't got to take a step. You can just piss like, you know, women piss all the time. You ain't got to move. So we are definitely getting stupid down. Penguins blowing a 3-1 lead. Penguins and the Rangers, right? Yeah. You know anything about the whole age of Aquarius ordeal? We supposedly just entered it. Do you believe these ages actually influence us? I'll say this. The stars and the constellations have a small part to play. Okay, I'll go at it like this. If you study that stuff, it can have a greater influence on you. Okay, if you are just casually seeing people throw it out there, it ain't going to influence you because you're not studying it to get a benefit. You know, that's how most people put it out there when they put these spells out there, because the way you presented it is like a spell. It's a spell they put out there for a blame. The people that study it can turn right into it and get the energy. The people that don't study it, they try to put it as a spooky kind of up and down. You know, it's the same thing I say about karma. You know, you want to live above karma. You don't want karma. You know, you want to live above karma. And it's the same kind of thing. If you don't study it to get the benefit, you sure ain't going to suffer from it. But they put it out there as spells to make you suffer. So you don't have to suffer from it. Yankees was so scripted. I told my boy yesterday who just started betting again, but told him Yankees get to 24-8 Kobe, then we'll lose 2 in a row, be 24-10. So wow. Penguins my squad. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. They losing tomorrow. Is over. Yeah, it is over. 2 game 7s tomorrow. Pitcher shouldn't bat. I agree. Pitcher should not bat. Pitchers throw the ball outside. Of course they do. I mean, what did we say? The video SD reminded everybody that I made on the other channel, where they said if a batter can't hit a certain pitch, and they want him to hit, they don't throw that pitch. If the batter can't hit the curve, that's what they said about Jim Thorpe. They said Jim Thorpe was a great baseball player, but he couldn't hit the curve. I think he won a couple World Series too with the Giants. But that's what they said. They said, what is this now today? If a batter can't hit a pitch, they don't throw him that pitch. See, they didn't think people was listening. But I agree, pitchers shouldn't bat. But yeah, baseball is the easiest control. They don't really, and Lobo made a great statement. Lobo said it. Lobo said, you can keep baseballs. So there ain't no technology in them baseballs. It's all in the bats. It's all into, and that's why the stealing signs was comical. That was elementary and comical. You telling me that only one team when the whole thing is scripted. But see, to throw people off that is scripted, they have to, baseball especially because of the Black Sox scandal, baseball has to justify that it's not crooked. but they got the same entertainment license. Same entertainment license. Chamberlain threw the ball outside every time. Of course, of course. I mean, that's the easiest way. You see, when they want a home run, they give it to where the guy, they know, they look in their hat now, they pull their hat like, throw it over the middle, throw it high, he'll blast it. Throw it high and he'll blast it. That's how they be doing that shit. Hey, what's happening, Lorenzo? On my birthday weekend, I'm a little buzzed. Hey, well, happy, enjoy your day. Glad you got another year, you know. Cheers to you. Shit. Cheers to you, brother. Get that buzz going. Who you got? Who you got bets on this NFL season? You know me. I have bet on the Eagles, of course. I already put a bet on for the Eagles to win the East. This is for Brother Lorenzo. We're gonna blow that shit out for Brother Lorenzo. So, Brother Lorenzo, you better blow that shit out. Woo, woo, woo. But yeah, I've got my early bet on them. Got one bet on them winning the East. I got a bet on them winning the conference, and I got a bet on them winning the East. So, that's my emotional bet. So scripted, yeah. Yeah, oh, you my main man from Japan. Got to. Cheers to you, brother. May you have as many spins as you want on this thing. And it's funny. This is how people used to drink. When they talk about 40s, people forget about quarts. Quarts was around forever. Before 40s, it was quarts of beer. Quarts. And then it was double deuces. I think this is closer to what a double deuce would be. Yeah, 22 fluid ounces, double deuces. It was 40s, and they changed to double deuces. As I said before, Boys in the Hood had the St. Ives beers. And at the time, I lived about an hour from Detroit, but we knew Detroit had the beers. And we was going to Detroit getting them beers like $1. And I admit, we was throwing teenage parties. We'd get these vacant houses, we'd rent them, and we'd give parties to teenagers and make them pay $5 to get in and to be a little teenage party. And shit, there was never no fighting because it was grown niggas in there making sure they didn't fight. But yes, we did sell alcohol to them and all that shit because we did older. I mean, we let older people come in too, but we was making killing we'd pay $1 and we would charge $5 and we'd get cases. We'd go to some of them Arabs that live in Dearborn and, they just like, how many cases you want? Like, give me 3-4 cases. And we'd head back with 3-4 cases and sell them all. St. Ives, because they was in a movie. Brothers thought they had to have it. Yeah, Chapman on some be choking, but he got all the tools to be the best. Makes no sense. Yeah, he can't be hittable. It's like when the Yankees was playing the Arizona team, and they had the 42 in there, whatever his name is. One of y'all can remind me of his name, but they had him pitching in there for the Yankees. He didn't give up hits all year, and you telling me this weak ass Arizona team could hit him? He did not give up hits all year. All his hits was in the ground. And he giving up doubles. I mean, it was just ridiculous. They wanted that Arizona franchise to have some money. So they scripted for Arizona to win. They scripted for my Marlins. When the Marlins first came in, I had all that Marlin gear. But that's what we do here. We celebrate everyone. Everybody is celebrated. And if it's your day, that's right. Shout out your day. And we send that energy, we definitely do. You talking about Moreno. Yeah, Moreno. Got that. He had a commercial. He had a national commercial. He was 42, the last 42. But it was like when they was playing Arizona, Randy Johnson was the Arizona star pitcher. But it was like the Yankees had it. He shuts them down in the 9th inning. That's game. That's series. And this fucker gives up 2 or 3 hits and they lose. That shit was so scripted. And I'm a secret Yankee fan, I admit. Yankees almost won 4 straight World Series, but 201 was rigged. Oh, absolutely. And I'm, Derek Jeter went to my high school. I've known Derek Jeter since he was 10th, 11th grade. And as I said before, he went to Greensboro. He played for the Hornets. And so You know, so I've been a Yankee. I was a Yankee fan Derek Jeter's whole career. So I quit being a Yankee fan when Derek quit playing. Ah. So yeah, but Yankees been good business. Look at that play where Jackie Robinson steals home on Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra swore he was out, swore he got him. But see, what you have to understand is when a pitcher pitches from the stretch and you already got a lead, it's a short run. Because in some instances, you can, even though he throws the ball, just the momentum of him having to set and then throw, if you got a nice lead, you can steal home easy. We used to do it. I used to steal home so easy when I was a younger player that I would just literally say, don't hit the ball. I like, don't swing. Let me touch home. Because our coach taught us how to do it. There was no way they could throw us out. There was no way. We'd have such a big lead. And by the time they went home, they can't break from the stretch. And I'd have to tell the batter, don't swing. Don't swing to hit me. So Snoop, Tupac, and Biggie had St. Ives commercial. Yeah, they did. I remember that. We sold the shit out there, but that helped us. We hustled the shit out of that. You know, that's how I got into raves. You know, we was renting these houses and getting parties in. It turned into renting factories and giving big parties. Ecstasy. I took. This dude had a big ass, I don't even know what you call them things. This is a big jug. I got one somewhere in there, but he had all that. And I forget what he's going to sell it to me, but I knew he was a mark and I took that shit. And shit, that shit sold. It was like 80, 90 a pill. He was a mark too. I was like, man, I wish I'd have told him to bring all of it. But I got thousands worth. I mean, it was a big thing ecstasy like this. And, you know, handing out water, glary lights, and just techno music. That's it. Cheap party. Easy party. And I told the story. The Masons wanted me to join them because they saw how well I was doing. They was like, shit, you can bring this money into Mason Hall. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't need y'all. I'm doing well by myself. And I'll tell you, one of my biggest capers we didn't end up doing. I don't know, the dude didn't show up, but it was a dude. I made a deal. And the guy, let me tell you how people work, how they what are they called? It'll come to me. But the gangs in Mexico, how they work. I end up finding out that these Mexican gangs, when they would bring drugs into a state, they would just let the trucks keep rolling. Like the trucks really didn't have a drop. Like the trucks would drop at certain times, but they would send trucks that would just be riding around the area. They would just keep them riding around. And instead of like, as soon as they hit the state line dropping off, they would ride around the state in these trucks, especially after Napa. When Napa hit, that helped the cartels tremendously. Because you know what Napa meant? That meant Napa trucks wasn't checked. Napa trucks went straight through. That shit Bill Clinton put through. Those trucks wasn't checked. Before, they was checking everything. But after he reached that North American commerce agreement, trucks went straight through. And a lot of times the trucks wouldn't, like the FBI following the truck, and this truck is, not doing anything out the way. And these trucks would literally just like ride at places like they making stops, and they would ride around for weeks. And then maybe their last stop would be where they put the drop. As I was able to pick up on that. So dude said, yeah, I'm getting, I'm going to have a truckload. I'm going to have a U-Haul full of bud. That was the deal. I didn't put any money down, but I'm like, I got the money. Here's the money right here. You bring the shit. This is what you get. And I was going to straight rob the dude, maybe even took it further, because the plan was, I had a friend of mine. We was going to make this dude drive through the alley. And when he came in the alley, me and this dude was going to splash gasoline on this dude. And then we was going to take the product. But the dude must have sniffed something. I never saw him again. But I was going to put everything on doing that shit. Let's see. That says what? Nothing wrong with that. Everybody wins. Kids have a blast in a safe environment. Y'all made some good money. Matter of fact, Biggie rapped, he's from the Dog Pound New York video. That's iconic because he was the inspiration for the reason the Dog Pound video came out the way it did, about stomping on it. Thought they was going to legalize it fairly. I wonder what happened. They have. They, let me think. Yeah, I think they have. I think it's still in the House about, I think it's, damn, wait a minute. What is all that? Oh, okay. Okay, I had to go see what that shit was sounding. That's my man. So, yeah, I think it is federally legalized or about to be signed. Yeah, Randy, I couldn't say. I could not say. I've got a feeling with the Sam Jones of Boston is gonna go through. I think they're gonna put Boston through. What Big say he was my goat. So yeah, there was some capers I had planned over the years that didn't work out. I robbed people. I ain't gonna lie. I told the story before. I robbed a dude, and the dude saw me at the store at the mall spending money that I robbed him. I robbed him with some weed. No, I robbed him money. Because he was like, he had a connection. So the first 2-3 times I went and got the weed. Last time I was like, yeah, you ain't gonna see me again. And he saw me at the mall. I had all the, spending his money, buying some shoes. But what shit he was gonna do about it? I'd have beat his ass in the mall. So he knew his best. You got taught. You got taught. That shit gives motherfucker the money. That, like I said, we went to Florida, and this is with my best friend. And then he brings the cat over, and the cat was like, well, give me the money. I'll come back with a couple keys. Looked at him like, you got to be kidding me. What do you think, we in kindergarten? Hey, Black Trucks, how you doing? I've been seeing people make videos about that. I mean, you see how they do. The picture I saw of the dude made me ponder a lyric I heard. Like somebody said, you spend all your advance money on the chain. And that's what, the mentality of dudes are. Dudes get a little money, think they got to get chains. You ain't got to spend that much money to get chains, I mean, gold is great to wear, especially around your neck, because gold helps your mental. Silver and copper helps you physically, but gold helps you mentally. So the more you can put around your neck, it definitely will help your mental. But as a status, I don't know, as a status, like showing I gotta have this shit, Bollywood his ass. Oh yeah, PG. I wasn't worried about that boy. I'd have beat his ass. And I remember he was with a dude. I'd have beat both their ass in finish line. Be like, hey, they accosted me and I had to beat their ass. And I probably had a pistol on me back then. My all-time Yankees lineup: Jeter, Mickey Mantle in center field, Babe Ruth in right field. I'd have Babe Ruth pitching. Gary at first, maybe. But DiMaggio, yeah, Rodriguez, yeah, Reggie Jackson. Robinson Cano at second. Yogi Berra catching. Yeah, Bears in there in home runs. That's a pretty good lineup. That's a pretty good. I would just have Babe Ruth pitching though, because he was shit. Look at him look at his when he was pitching. Babe Ruth won some World Series pitching when he played for the Red Sox. Had Snoop kicking the Empire State Building. Jay-Z said in Money, cash holes, New York been soft since Snoop kicked down the buildings. That's the spark the beef between Prodigy. I'll say this: what you saw is what Biggie did is, and it was just really, if you looked at how hip hop had evolved where, like, if you go back to West Coast rap, we had Egyptian Lover, we had Sir Mix-a-Lot was doing that super fast rapping that I don't know, it was yodeling almost. But what you had is you finally had and the entertainment business put a lot of shine on the West Coast people. But you had the gender of rap being being nationalized. Instead of it being a New York hub, it was nationalized. And the first place they nationalized it was California, where it's like New York, then California, then it went down south. If you saw how they did it, that's how they did it. It went to California and then it went down south. So it's like California got so much love. So I bring this up is because what Biggie did is Biggie pretty much brought rap back to New York from California. His talent, like the media was out in California saying, pay attention to these wannabe gangsters. And Biggie was like, wait a minute, we started this. And his flow was so much better that it brought it back to the East Coast kind of thing, but it was all well, thank you, Black Trunks. Jay-Z a gatekeeper. Yeah, he is. He's a build-up person. They build him up. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player of all time. That's hard to argue. Definitely hard, is consistent. I don't care what you say he did. That man was consistent in his career. Babe Ruth could pitch and bat. Shit. They made him quit. He was a great athlete. And you know what they say about Babe Ruth? He got the melanated roots. They don't like talking about that. That's why Ty Cobb always called him a nigga. He always called Babe Ruth a nigga. Look that up. I call him Boule Z. Yeah, he turned into that. Hanks, he always had money because he was chosen, planted by the Jesuits. Oh, said he still. Okay. Chipper Jones. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. As I said, he is. He is. CW. His bat is in there, and his jersey, that's in there. That's if one of my records is in there and you put pictures of me in there, you put my bat, you put my ball, you put my jersey in there, Pete Rose shit is in the Hall of Fame for hitting the most getting the most hits. So he in there. So it's some childish mental shit. That's all it is. They'll put Pete Rose in there when he die. Well, we can forgive him now. You know how they do. He's like, well, he's dead, and we forgive him. We really love Pete. Pete just liked to bet on sports. Just said he lets the spirit go through his body and never wrote the raps down. One take. That's interesting. But yeah, I've heard that too. Hey, Steven, what's happening? Playing with me, can't access my channel at the moment, and people don't stop. Now, give me a call, because I don't think I got your number, so give me a call. Conspiracy, give me a call. What about Willie Mays? But you got to figure what they did to Willie Mays, and Willie Mays is the one that really popularized the overhand catch. They did the trophy of the 55 World Series where he was the first one to catch a ball. I mean, he said, and this is what's interesting, the little football history. He said that he did that catch from watching Don Nelson or the Packers great. Don Hudson. No, let me see. Here we go. You got, okay, where's the tight end? Where's the flanker? You do not have him in here? You got Raymond Berry and Levani? You got to be kidding me. He might be in here in the all-time greats. Okay. Let me see. Jim Brown, Gale Sayers, Crazy Lake Hirsch. Here he is. Yeah, Don Hudson. But Willie Mays said that from watching Don Hudson catch, he was the first cat that really learned how to catch like that. Like the ball coming over your head, which is a hard catch. When you look up and you just you put them hands up and you start seeing that ball and you put your hands up. Well, Don Hudson was the one that invented that. He was the first dude to really do that. Willie Mays said he learned that. And that's why you see the trophy is basically him. No one had ever done that. Not only did he do that, he caught the ball, then turned around and threw it to stop any advancement of the runners. But Willie Mays was probably the greatest baseball player ever. And what people don't realize is Willie Mays was in the Army for 5 years. For 5 years, he played some shortened seasons. Look up his stats. For 5 years, he played shortened seasons. And that was to stop him from his greatness. Oh, and his story is so messed up. It's so messed up. The Giants moved to a stadium that is not a good stadium for home run hitters. Compared to when Hank Aaron went to Atlanta, it was a stadium built for home run hitters. So do you see? They put that stadium in a place that look at Willie McCovey's numbers. Not despite him playing the majority of his career in San Francisco, but they played in a park that really wasn't conducive for home run hitters. That was against him. He married this crazy chick that was fucking everybody, again, to knock him off his greatness. He was probably, stealing bases, hitting for percentage, hitting for power, center field that can cover all the fields. There's nobody probably greater baseball player as far as having everything. His nickname was the Say Hey Kid. He played some Negro League baseball too. Started as a teenager. Probably was the greatest baseball player ever, but doesn't get that. Doesn't get that. Didn't Barry use steroids? Well, I'll say Barry passed all his tests. And we know, remember, the league allowed steroids. When you can catch pictures of what's his name, that's the batting coach, Mark McGwire. You can see interviews where it's creatine in his locker room, in his locker, creatine. It says a big bottle of creatine. Then later they called that a steroid. They said that gave you an advantage. Well, under the rules at the time, Barry never failed a test. So you can't come back and say it looks like a hit job. If you come back and say, well, we still got your piss and we still got your blood and we know how to do more sophisticated tests and we see this in your blood now. Didn't do that at the time. That's suspicious to me. So I don't believe his head did get bigger, but O.J. Simpson had a big ass head for only being 6 foot. Barry Bonds would have been just as great without the roids. Didn't really see him declining. No, he was consistent. He was consistent in his career. Took care of himself. They giving him, Barry Bonds is getting the same treatment as Jabbar got. He didn't like the media, and so the media is taking it out on him. He didn't like the media. That same media is the one who can put you in the Hall of Fame, which is unfair. They should take it out of the media's hands. That's what I say. Big had two for two classic. Both albums sounded so different than each other. Big showed me he had no weakness. I'll tell you this. You want to know how great Biggie was? When Biggie is with the Ohio group and he uses their rhythm or their cadence, that showed me that he was great. Bone Thugs and Harmony, when he mixes his with them, but then he gives them, he does with 112. He does the song with 112. But the song that convinced me that this man really could have used anybody's cadence, like the one where him and Little Kim go back at it. Little Kim copies his cadence. You want to be my mean baby. You want to get in between. She copies his cadence, and it works. It works. And so that showed a greatness. And even taking that chance to put Bone Thugs and Harmony with him, that showed that but this is my knock. He was in bed for 8 months and didn't record. And I've said this before. Shine was in prison for years. He got albums coming out over, somebody supposedly recorded over the prison telephone line and put a Shine album out there. How come Puffy didn't have equipment around Biggie so he could record? That makes me wonder why. Peyton Manning had head grow with steroids. That's a good point. He had a high head. You had 50 Cent versus Ja Rule beef happening while all that going on in New York. The South was doing with Andre 3000. The South has something to say, and down here we've been speaking the loudest. It evolved. This was a creation, a culture of ours that evolved. I mean, it evolved around the world. Shit, you had what is it? Was it in Japan where weed is really, and so you had these Japanese dudes where they would have the cigarettes with the cigars with the tips, tipperellos and shit, acting like they blunts and shit, trying to copy the culture. You've heard all these other people try to do hip hop, try to rap, and really the culture is hip hop. Rap is more the commercial name, but you had all them copying this influence. Listen to Chinese people rapping, trying to have a cadence. It's kind of funny. Biggs wrote Kim's rhymes, but she, right, but she gave it to him. I mean, she picked up on his cadence and she gives it back to him, which is great, which is really great. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think Nas was straight doo-doo. One mic is nice. One mic is nice. If I Rule the World, it's kind of nice too. Notorious Thugs, Get Money with Little Kim. There you go. Sky's the limit. One More Chance, and really showed how versatile. Yeah, that's my point. I mean, Juicy picking that Itumi beat was brilliant. Puffy as a producer. I mean, you've got to give that to him. And then the Herb Albert, throwing the Herb Albert mix in there for, Hypnotize was brilliant. I mean, really showed the production level of, but especially picking in Toomey for Juicy. I remember the first time we heard the video, we was just like sitting talking, and then we like all of us was like, what is this? I mean, really, because I had heard it on the radio a couple times and really was just hearing it. But I remember the video came on and we was just sitting there smoking and talking, and all of us stopped and we started watching the video. We was like, who is this cat? So Nas is overrated. Well, Nas worked for them folks. Big did something that everybody did. He looked out for everybody around him. Wrote Junior Mafia's album. Yeah, he did. I mean, that should be how you do it. He wanted to be a producer himself. I'll say that Kim's Naked Truth was better than Hardcore. Hardcore was the album that Big wrote. Bet. Okay. I mean, who's to say how she would develop if, his assassination didn't take place? And I'll still say, Puffy has something to do with it. I mean, what does Sam Giancana say? When you see a murder, who benefits? Puffy benefited. It was months. He was running across the stage because Puffy secretly wanted to be the star. He wanted to be in front of the camera. He still wanted to be in front of the camera. So, he's saying, what's happening to you? That's Conspiracy University. But yeah, call me. You got my number. Call me, text me, whatever. See how you doing. When I start sending this stuff off, need your address anyway. Send this stuff off. So, yeah. I mean, you can see culture-wise how we are the culture of America. The melanated people are the culture of America. Wherever it goes back to, Big was going to leave Bad Boy. Puffy got all types of blood on his hands, absolutely. Initiation too. Ready to Die, Life After Death. All that's classic predictive programming. Yeah, I would agree too. It was telling you that. It was telling you that. I agree. All probably acted out. But Puffy benefited from it. The way it was set up, he benefited from it. It went from Biggie to him. How's Puff still walking around freely? Exactly. Shine, it's Puffy's weapon, but Shine takes the blame because Puffy, Shine had a different lawyer than Puffy. They wasn't tried together. And Puffy, I guess he took care of Shine or told him he'd take care of their family, whatever, that he took that hit. But that's what's happening, That's how they do it. They sacrifice each other. I guess it's better to go to prison than get killed. That was probably what they was going to do. Big was going to leave Bad Boy, and him and Pac was going to squash their beef. But as I was saying, you never sit next to the door. You never in the front seat. If you are protecting a person in an SUV, they sitting in the back in the middle. They're not sitting in the back. They're sitting in that middle row in the middle with the tinted out window, so you don't know. So once he goes in, you don't know what seats he's in. So by him being, if he got killed, they held his hand to kill him. Because to be in that front seat, there's not even a police officer, anybody that's in a training to say, well, this man's life might be in jeopardy, is going to put him in the back in the middle, where it's blacked out. Not where you're seen with the window down. You're going to be in the blacked out part. That's been a thing. Or that's been procedure. Sorry, I flipped and said that thing, that spell word. But that's been procedure. So that tells you they wasn't trying to protect him. They was walking him in, and if he got killed, that's what they were doing. They walked him into being killed. So, shine like he took Obama package deal programming. He looks like him, talks like him. But that's that dude from the 5 Heartbeats. That Obama cadence is from the guy from the 5 Heartbeats. That's where Obama took programming from him. They always take the best from us. Well, that's part of it. Ritual, sacrifice. They've been doing that. Rudolph Valentino getting sacrificed for talkies. He couldn't talk. He had a real squeaky voice. So he was that sacrifice. They've been doing this in Hollywood. But that goes into, how Aleister Crowley set it up. And they turned on him. And he gave up a lot of good information. But he set up Hollywood the way it is, all the ritual. Randy, how you doing? I saw Bill Clinton one time when he pulled up with a Secret Service agent. He was in a Suburban, sitting in the middle in the back. I could tell by the way they got out the vehicle. Yeah, that's standard. You're not going to put the person that needs protected in a front seat with the window down. You just don't do that. And the only reason you would do that is to fit the agenda to set the person up for the shooting. Because if you're not in that seat, they ain't just going to randomly shoot in that car. Right? They're just going to shoot the car, hoping they hit him. But if you put him in the front seat, because again, he was directed to sit in that seat. Okay, we got to get up out of here. They closed it. We're rushing you to the car. You sit here. He didn't think nothing about it. But that tells you the people around him was not trying to protect him. Because if there was one person in that group trying to protect him, they're like, oh, no. You're not sitting there. You're sitting here. Same with Tupac. Why wouldn't you be in a car with the windows blacked out? Too easy to identify. Especially when there's been threats. Conspiracy's wife. Can't make this up, huh? Conspiracy University now. My wife's account. Theft. They took the channel. I just made it too. I don't know. I pissed off. Hey, they took my channel. I had about 1,000 some videos, but the music and the people I subscribed to, I have no idea who I used to be subscribed to. So okay, I feel you. I know you pissed off. They paid me $300 one day and took my channel down the day they paid me $300. That's how cold Google is. And now people can say the same shit I said. All I said is that my doctor took this stuff, and then a fellow doctor took the stuff, and the fellow doctor was sick for about a month. That's what I said. And that's why they took my channel down. Now you can say that shit. That came right after Biden was elected. Clive Davis, both Whitney and Biggie passed away at a party, and the parties kept going after the incidents. That's a good one, researcher. Why the last picture of Pac, no keys in ignition? I don't know about that. I don't know if that's worth paying attention to. I heard you passed out. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh yeah. I passed out like a mug. Bucks or Celtics. I'm going with the Celtics, SD. Yeah, conspiracy. I got that heat stroke. I had a heat stroke Thursday. I had heat stroke Thursday. One moment I'm playing on the ground, next minute, all these Europeans standing over me, one kissed me for about 5 minutes. So yeah, definitely. But it was so hot, I didn't realize it was 90 degrees. I really didn't, because I played yesterday, I played today, But yeah, they was, and they cool with me, but they didn't have to call the ambulance or nothing. But it was like, I'm the one minute I'm standing up feeling hot as hell, the next minute I'm laying on the ground looking up like, what the hell is all these Europeans around me? I thought they had went back to their old ways. I was scared for a minute, but there was this pretty girl kissing me, and then like, okay, this is okay for a few minutes. And then I went over to my daughter's house and she sprayed me with the hose. It took me an hour to cool down. I'll say that. I didn't feel good for an hour. My daughter sit there and sprayed me because I wanted to wash my car anyway. So yeah, but I'm taking the Celtics tomorrow. What'd you take on Kendrick's Lamar Hart's 5 song? Like the video, the beat, his last verse there. Record was beautiful to me. I think I heard it on Sirius today. It sounded good. I think I saw a little bit of the video. It sounded good. I have to look deeper to see if that's the right song. But Sirius been playing one, and I'm thinking that's one you mean. Hey, B Brown, how you doing? I saw the Magic series with her. Yeah. Should have gotten the number. Oh, should have gotten the number. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had your number, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the right number. So just hit me Eagles are the bomb at Gmail. Eagle are the bomb. Just hit me there. And we'll wrap. But yeah, so I have to listen to it again. I have to watch the video and stuff. I didn't, but it was like I put that video out of Roddy Ricch because Roddy Ricch says in his second song after balling, I will never sell my soul. And that's a fact. And you see the cheetah print, it's the cheetah print. It showed he was a Mason and it showed the cheetah print. So you're on national TV showing that. Talking about the lady who kissed you. Oh, okay. I got you. No, we ain't all bad. Okay, I got you. Okay, bet. Okay. Yeah. They was worried about me, and that's a good thing that they worried. Okay, bet. I saw the Magic series at Kareem. They was faking ankle injuries back Kareem. I don't know. He was pretty hurt. That series. It wasn't that he faked it. It was like that he was hurt. And he kept playing through being hurt, which crippled Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale played, again, without limb bias, they're helping him. Kevin McHale limps to this day because he played on a bad ankle. Again, they was, the people my age mentality, you played when you was hurt. That's the way they made you feel from high school. You played when you was hurt. And Kevin McHale still limped. And a lot of cats that did that, that's my generation, still hurt. So yeah, Kareem was pretty hurt then. He was. But what Magic did was all scripted. It was all scripted. Remember, the Magic hurt his knee. Magic did what Van Cleef did. Remember Van Cleef dribbling when he should be trying to score? Magic did the same thing. He dribbling. Time ran out while he was dribbling. He made not to get it to Kareem. None of that. And they lost. I think they lost. I'm trying to think who they lost. They lost to Ralph Sampson one year, but they lost that other year. I forget who went to the finals. And I think it was one of the championships that Larry Bird went, because Larry Bird beat Houston twice. He beat LA once, but he beat Houston twice. That Ralph Sampson, that was definitely a manipulated shot. This motherfucker just threw the shit over his shoulder and it went in. He touched it and just threw it in the air over his shoulder and it went in. Yeah. We don't let that go. That was definitely manipulated. But yeah, I should have. But I generally see her. But it was just, glad that people was concerned. But that shit with me. I didn't realize it was 90. I played, and I was telling the dudes today. I played the first game fine. I took 3-4 waters, drank them. I had an apple. I was eating an apple before I played. Played the first game, played the second game. That third game, some shit hit me, and I was like, let me get this. So my fourth and fifth game, I won. So it made it easy because we won. And so I was like, okay, I sat down, threw water on my head, a whole bottle of water, just threw it on my head, went out there and played the first point. The second point, I passed out. That shit, lucky I didn't have heat stroke on them. Really lucky. Lucky I didn't have heat stroke because that shit hit me. It definitely hit me. Trying to exert myself when it's 90, like yesterday and today, played, earlier Saturday, earlier Friday. Yeah. So wasn't so effective. Damn, I've been going for an hour and a half. Gosh. Didn't realize I was going so long. uh, yeah. But thank you, for the well wishes. That's cool. Just yeah, hydrate and feel better. Hydrate and gauge the weather. Because we ain't used to 90s up here. This is the first time we got 90 this year. I mean, this time last year we had leaves and everything was green. Not this year. Winter was about 2 weeks ago. We had a nice little pocket in April, but we also had a nice part of April where it was damn cold. And it was cold in early May. It was cold in early May. And this is the only state I've ever been in. I grew up in Michigan, Snowville. But in this state was the first time I saw snow in April. This state, the first time I saw a blizzard in May. Because May 5th or 15th, we had a blizzard in May. Now, it melted the next day, but we had 15 inches one day in May. And I never saw that in my life growing up in Michigan. Never. So this is a different kind of weather up here. But we had the storms came pretty bad here. I mean, actually did a lot of harm. They killed South Dakota, killed the eastern part of South Dakota. And South Dakota ain't that far from here. In South Dakota, legalized weed, and it's only 2-3 hours from here. So all the edibles, all that shit's coming over. People used to go to Colorado. South Dakota is, for some people, they live on the border, bringing that shit. Well, thank you. Yeah, oh yeah, it stayed on me for a minute. It took me a minute to cool down, but because I'm sitting around my ex and she's just looking at me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just leave me alone." She's thinking, "Well, you are in my house. You're just sitting here. You don't usually hang out with me like this." But I was like, "Girl, I need to feel better." She's like, "Well, you need a Gatorade." She sounded like a commercial. "You need a Gatorade. You need electrolytes. It's got electrolytes." But my daughter did the best. My daughter just started hosing me down. I was like, "Just hose me down. Got to get this temperature down." So yeah, I was feeling bad for a minute. But thank you. Yeah, I feel better. But it's just learning. I'm too old a pimp to be out there trying to play in 90-degree weather. Protect Big Pontiac. Thank you. My neighbors and the people I played with is cool. It was luckily a lot of people I knew. Like today, I played with only one cat that I remember from last summer. And it was interesting. The dudes I played with today, one dude was a doctor. And one guy is going through some medical problems. It was interesting listening to their conversation because the doctor was sitting there rattling stuff off. And I mean, he was rattling. He was just his knowing. He was rattling his knowing off. And the dude was like, "Yeah, I was thinking about calling you because, I'm going through this." And, the guy didn't play. The guy didn't play. He was just there with a friend, just hanging out. And I think he's going to be okay because he didn't look like death. I mean, I don't even want to say this shit, but yeah, I know what death looks like. Like I see people that are dying all the time. And I can't say all the time, but I can look at people and tell when they're dying. You can see death on them. And this guy didn't appear like that. So they hit him with it, whatever, but he didn't appear like he's dying. Because I can look at people and see that death on them. That is something that kind of stands out. And the older you get, you start seeing it, and you recognize it. The older you get, when you start seeing it. That's why I hesitate to saying that shit, because it's not a good thing. But death is nothing to fear. As I try to encourage people to meditate. When you meditate, and what you see all around you, that's what death turns into. Like when you meditate, you close your eyes and you turn off this. What you see around you is always there. It's there around you. And so that's why meditating is so important, because it gets you prepared for the next phase. I mean, if you don't leave your body until you die, you'll go, what the boob whispers say, go to the light, Bobby, go to the light. That's what you're trained to do. And then the trick is, if you believe in the Jesus, you believe in the Borgia Jesus, that will appear and try to lead you into this blinding light. But if you do it right now, reject that, and then the other part is closing everything down inside so you can blast off here, because again, death, that black comes quick, and you want to be in the black perfect. As the black starts to really squeeze everything out, you want to be perfect in it. You want all this shut down. And then as I get more organized, I'll show how to do that, but you want to shut all this down and you want to blast out the top of your head. And then you keep moving. So, and it's nothing to be afraid of. It's natural because, again, if you meditate enough, what you see when you meditate is what's there all the time. It doesn't leave, and that's what you go into. So, you ain't got to repeat, because repeating means you lose everything. And you retain, the other key is retaining memory through death. Dan Winters talks about that. Memory through death. And it's possible with practice. As I said before, every person wants to be a planet. Every planet wants to be a universe. There we go. You want to be a universe. That's if you want to say free will, it's not free will. It's you have a right to be a universe. That's what you want to take into the next phase, is to be a universe that comes from you. That's the God. And then even that can be corrupted because people get the God power and then think they got to act like a God. Not knowing you just need to put it in motion. You put it in motion, let it go. You don't sit there and play chess with what you created. You don't have to play chess with it. That's what they show you with the Greek mythology, is that, the gods created this stuff and then they had to play chess with it, with each other. Jealous of each other. One of the wife god is mad because you messing with the humans and got the humans pregnant. So they need to take vengeance on your human child, and you got to send all kind of shit to the human child. Yeah, and that's one thing that's you can find it in this book, How to Shut Everything Down. It's not an exciting book to read, but it gives you these possibilities of how to, how to get the rest properly. Drop it again. Damn. Tearing the book up. And I hate I didn't buy a bunch of these. This book was like $2-3. I wish I'd have bought a bunch of them. Kind of mad I didn't. They was giving away at half price book sale. They got so many tricks for us. It's all a trap. Not fair that they memory wipe us. Demand all my past memories back. That's not really a unnatural demand, because that's part of it. That is part of it. Because it's, I guess you could say it's a trap, but it's the thing is that's what gives them life. That's why they want to live so long on this thing. That's why, they do all the adochrome, androchrome, and all these kind of things to keep them living on this. And they make you think that you want this. They make you think you want the riches that they have. When you can have, rich is not defined as one thing. You can be rich in a lot of things. I talked a video last year talking about when I grew up and saw big families, how these big families were not wealthy, but they were rich in love. They were so rich in love that all these other families wanted to be around and be involved. Because that family had something. They had a togetherness that spread out, and others wanted to be part of it. I looked at my aunt's family like that. My aunt had 7-8 children. And this is when motherfuckers were poor. It was people really poor in the 60s. Johnson's campaign against the poor, or whatever it was called back then, I can't quite remember, but it was poor people. I had relatives that did not have, and this is the North. I know I talk about my ex-wife living on a plantation in a 3-room house, little hutch house with no indoor plumbing. Well, I had relatives that at one time had indoor plumbing, but for some reason it got fucked up and they ain't had money to fix it. And I remember going in their house to use the bathroom, and I'm looking in their tub, and they ain't nothing but clothes in their tub. And it was 8 or 9 of them. But again, they were rich in other ways. But just I give you an example of poor. Ain't nothing like poor today. I mean, people was poor. I went to high school. I went to junior high with children that didn't have, for some reason the plumbing was fucked up in their houses. And the only time they took a shower is when they went to gym class. Because in gym class in junior high, they made us take showers. And there was only two people that didn't want to take showers. It was people with little dicks. Yeah, they didn't like taking showers. And it was just snooty ass people. But I remember my poor friend Leroy. Leroy was happy that he was in there like shit because it was the only shower he got to take during the day. Majority of people got to go home and take showers. People with little dicks, they was like, they was hiding and shit. Motherfucker be in 7th grade, and he only got something to pee out of. I bought the complete Illuminati card game, brand new, about 7 years ago. It's going for double. Wow. I'll tell you, all my Motivite is crazy. All my pieces that I paid $300 for the most, all of them is worth the thousands. I've been offered the thousands for my bigger, like I got 25-gram pieces of tiers like a Motivite. I paid the most expensive I paid was $300. The big piece I normally wear, I only think I paid $250. All that stuff is in the thousands. So Motivite has been one of the best investments that I've gotten other than gold. Tasha C did past video on Instagram where Kendrick started out by saying, I am all of us people. K dot by putting Oklahoma, which is Choctaw language. Oklahoma means my people. Oh, okay. I love Sister Tasha. Turtle Gang going after her. I was like, look, I ain't in this shit. Me and you are cool. I love Tasha. Tasha's a sweetheart, puts out good information there. Without hustle, you can just look her up. She does have products about how to look up stuff. But if any of you want to know if you're from the East Coast, she does go back to look up Tasha Z's program. She does Virginia, she does North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia names. And like she's finding all them Heathcocks, and she's like, well, we found Heathcocks in Virginia too, not just North Carolina. So them is my people. I come from Heathcocks as well. Like in my family, they try to say that we were slaves to Quakers. Well, during the period, Quakers wasn't allowed to have slaves, and so we was just working there. We had relatives that worked there. They put that we got the okay. Well, he got the okay to do business. We got a letter that said, okay, these people are cool, come do business in Indiana. And then we got ran out by the Mennonites, and Indiana was a very racist state, and they went into Michigan. So we catch where they lie. We catching their lies. I bet OG smart now. Now everybody into it. Oh yeah, the Motivite is really. I got in at the right time, and I have. Probably 5 pieces. I have 2 pendants. Even my small pendant, a dude offered me $700-800, and I know I paid my small pendant. And it's probably like 7 grams, and I had a dude offer me $800 for my small one. So yeah, all of it. That's all of it. All that Motivite jump triple. I have a wand I made. I need to put another piece on it because at one time this was on my wand. And this showed me it didn't want to be on the wine no more. This a Herkimer diamond. So this is a diamond facets. And these are minerals you can find Herkimers that, they facet. I got a couple of them. That's clearer than this one. This one isn't as clear. These come from Herkimer, New York. They come from other places too, though. I got a couple from India. But it's just something that will facet. It's what diamonds will facet. Like when it shimmers inside. Well, it not only shimmers inside, it goes in every direction, every way inside of it. It's kind of easy way to say how something facets. It's like if you was able to go into a diamond and use the facet, it would be like you would see multiples of you all around. Given the light. You would see yourself all around if you was the diamond. That's the easiest way to understand it. How something facets. You would be where the light would show, you would multiply in the light. I guess that's the best way I could put it. And so, but Motivite ain't for everybody. A lot of people can't touch it. I know my friend Christina, she said it was too strong for her. And she's, she sells crystals, but she said she couldn't really deal with the Motivite. Like today, I was, it was so nice. I put all my furniture outside under our tree, and just grounding for this time with this energy coming in with the moon. I'll burn some stuff tomorrow. I'll do a little bit of ritual tomorrow, or not ritual, just ceremony. I say ritual, just ceremony. I'm bringing this in. She's the one that told me that people in Mississippi originated in Virginia. Mine started in Virginia, then to South Carolina in the 1800s. We settled in Mississippi. Yeah, that she was the one that really hit me too because I know where the name come from. There was a cat named Nathaniel Macon that fought in the Revolutionary War. He didn't sign the Declaration of Independence, but he fought in the Revolutionary War. Matter of fact, he was the Custards. He married Martha Washington was his daughter or granddaughter. And you see, if you look into Lee's, one of Lee's children's is named something as Custer Lee. He takes his mother's his mother's last name. Well, no, let me go back. Okay, so George Washington married a Macon. Martha Washington was married before she married George, but Martha original name was Macon. She'd be Martha Macon was her original name. And then she the Custis Lee, General Lee married Martha Washington's daughter, I think. George Washington's granddaughter. She was the Custis, so that's how the Lees is related to them. Now, how the Macons out of Virginia became that, Macon means Mason. It is but there is a Macon name in France, so I don't know. That part of my family, we go back to Josh Macon, that's it. And Josh was born in the 1820s. So far as Macon, he more than likely came out of, because what happened, because I cut into, because there's a Macon, Mississippi, and that's the family name. But what another relative said was Nathaniel Macon, when they cleared out the natives, they cleared out the American Indians from Mississippi, they let these Europeans come into these states and buy thousands of acres, pennies on the dollar is the spell they use. And that's why we have Macon, because the county is called Natchez, but we have Macon, Mississippi. And the story was that in Macon, Mississippi, out of Macon, Georgia, that was the original story. That two twin brothers, which again, that is the story I was told. It's a Josh and Jacob. Most of the family don't talk about Jacob. He kind of disappeared. It was two brothers wanted to marry two sisters, and they couldn't get married in Georgia, but in Mississippi, because it wasn't a state, you could get married. But my mother's family, we go back to the 1600s. New subscriber, just found out your page 4 hours ago. Okay, Trill, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Oh, you from Mississippi too? Oh, Macon is okay. Bet. Yeah. That's I still got family down there. I was trying to buy some more property. Near there. It looks like I have a line of buying some property near there because my cousin's mother, she still owns property down there. She ain't doing nothing with it, so they've offered it to me. It's not in Macon, but it's not far away. So they offered it to me. I think I'm gonna buy it. So, but I was thinking of trying to buy up some of that land because at one point my grandfather owned thousands of acres in Macon, Mississippi. My great grandfather did. He owned so much land to marry, and I've told this story many times. To marry my great grandmother, he had to give her father 100 acres to build a school, and there was a school there. I've seen the yearbooks and shit, which is interesting. Yep. So yeah, right on, Trill. Thank you for joining. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm gonna have to make a trip down there to look up the land and see what kind of investment I can get on it, or return, or what I can build on it. Get the feeling of the local governments down there, because sometimes you build some shit. Remember, Chris Jackson had his house. They burned the mosque down there. So, but I think I won't have no problems. Be able to build down there, have a place to go in Mississippi. So, yeah, something to look for in the future. I got all Carter people calling me when they're wanting me to buy land and all this kind of shit. And sometimes, people be on some bullshit. You go look at the shit and it be like, you trying to sell me this stick, huh? Though you be the land, it's like, yes, you look at the car, they be like, you own the stick. Like, wait a minute, you tell me I'm buying a stick? No, I'm talking about this land. You showing me all this, and you telling. I mean, it scams be like that. If you have to read this stuff, it'd be like, well, you own the stick on the property, but you don't own the property. So, yeah, that's the kind of thing. Well, I guess I'm gonna cut it. I'll do the divination before I cut. I'm just kind of talking and shit. Yeah, this got to be it right here. Ebb. I'll do some readings. If y'all want to do some readings, I'll do some readings tomorrow. I'll bring my other cards. I'll bring the pendulums out too. And if anybody wants some readings tomorrow, I'll do some little short readings. I don't mind doing that. Oh, right here. Okay. And I'll, do some, other than the bud smoke. You see, the state Spanish took over from South Florida to east of the Mississippi. Yeah, and it's a lot of that area was Choctaw for a long time too. I know the Wichitas tried, I know some other down there. There's a Choctaw basically, but it's another name like Wichita. But they try to claim some of them lands. But that was going from Mexico City up through New Mexico, Arizona, New Mexico, going east. There was old Spanish trading routes that they traded for years. They traded for years. The Other Slavery is a great book to read if you really want to know how America and Jim Crow specifically was done. They did it all in Mexico first to the people. And that's why, people say, is this illusionary world? That Cortez story makes no sense. With the technology they had, there's no way you conquer tens of millions of people. I mean, it makes no sense. As I said, hey, Stacy, thank you for joining. It makes no sense. How they sleep. How they sleep. I don't care how many metal suits you got on. Again, metal suits, and it's 100 degrees outside. What did the horses eat? How did the horses adapt to eat American grass so quickly? If I throw 10,000 at you and fight you continuously for 2 days and you only got 500 people, when they killed Montezuma wiped them all out but 35 people. How did they 35 people get away to go back and get reinforcements? And again, if I throw 10,000 people at you and make you fight for days, there's no way you can win. And as I said before, it's a chance where it was a battle in the 1770s where they was about to be wiped out. And all of a sudden, 30,000 Indians, like who's fighting them, join the Europeans and save the Europeans from being wiped out in the 1770s. Being wiped out. All of a sudden, 30,000 people just appear and turn the tide, save the Spanish. Do you know how long it takes to gather 30,000 people? Do you know how much food it takes to feed 30,000 people? Do you know how long it takes you to organize to put together 30,000 people? So these stories can't be real. They can't be real. Can't be real. Now, if you want to say alien shit, it sounds more like that. That's more believable than the stories they tell us. That millions of people millions of people got conquered by 500 people. That's not believable. In the same way then the Pilgrim stuff, they had a chance to wipe them people out then, but it was, again, the mentality of just wiping out people wasn't that great in Americas. No one owned the land. That was what they was trying to tell these motherfuckers. We don't own it. Nobody owns it. The thing that created the source owns it. Source owns the land. And so you got all these William Pennites, the William Penn Quakers, they step shit off. They're like, well, we did 2,000 steps to the east, 1,000 steps to the west, and we own all that shit. It's kind of how they was counting off what they owned. Then using liquor. Liquor was used the same way as crack. I'm the only one telling that. The same way they use crack, they use liquor first. The divide and conquer. And we got the same kind of timing that went on then. I'm the big chief and I'm eating fat and I'm cool. I don't give a fuck what you do to them. Them was our enemies anyway. Not knowing if they killed one of the people, they will eventually kill you. And that's what they did. Then they told the lie to 49ers. That's the lie. The gold in the West was a lie. They had just captured Mexico and they needed Europeans out West. So what do Europeans love more than anything? What is their god? Money, gold. So you had all these fools that had no idea of how to get the gold. And then we had the parasites. Levi's makes the tents, makes the jeans. Them peoples buy the picks, sell the picks, sell the pans. We are not going to be digging in the dirt, but we're still going to see gold because we're going to follow the gold business. And everything they need to get the gold, they're going to buy from us. You see how they set that up? They put in their papers, go west, young man. Look up some 20th century shit. 49ers still remind you it's a football team. This is what they put in their papers. Go west, young man. And then them peoples followed and parasited. Because they ain't digging no shit. We get, their bottle was, we gonna get gold and we ain't putting one shovel in the ground. And that's right, because they buying picks. They gotta buy food, canvas to build your tents. Parasites. Living off other people's work. And that's what they're known for. That's why Isabella. That's why I love studying about Isabella. Isabella put her foot in their ass. Like no one else has. But I didn't come to talk about that. That's out there. You do your own research. That's out there. Them peoples is out there. It ain't no one individual. I don't want any European thinking that, they can't be part of the rap because it ain't no thing on you. My children have European, my daughter, my son's mother's Potawatomi. Potawatomi and Polish. So there ain't no such thing as mixed. If you got a little of melanated blood, you're melanated. That's just the way it is. That's their rules. Like my MRI lady put that I'm European on the paperwork. She put white on the paperwork. I just laughed because again, they looking at the motherfucker. I don't know. A lot of this shit's funny to me. It's humorous, and you got to get humor out of it, or it takes you away. That's why really it's just about building up our power, who we are now. And we ally with the people we can ally with. You get the information from who you think is going to lead you to the proper information or open your mind up to the proper possibilities. That's what I like. I like listening to people that are going to bring up different possibilities that I don't break up. Like I said before, when I say that I'm another yourself in the eyes of Lord Marsh, that's what you really got to be like. You got to like, okay, this motherfucker say this shit. Well, let me Lord Marsh into him and see where he's coming from saying this. And we have that power. All of us have that power to be the eyes of Lord Marsh. I mean, if anything, I want to spread about desire. It's that shit right there, the eyes of Lord Marsh. Being able to sit, in somebody else's eyes and see and feel their perspective. We all can do that. That's what I am another yourself means. That's the power it gives you. It gives you that ability to sit there and say, okay, I'm looking at this. Well, let me Lord Marsh into them to see how they thinking and how they looking at it. That's equal. That's not a violation, because if you need to analyze something, that's the proper way to analyze it. So there's no wickedness in that. It's just the way to see the other side. To see the other side of things. That's all. Because this shit is out here and we should be using it. That's what Bobby was saying. Like, it's funny, Dewan B, the California brother on Craig's Facts, they don't talk about Bobby. They talk about Dr. Ben. You look up Dr. Ben You know who? You know the guy that had glaucoma and lost his vision. He was a Pan African through and through. But look up who, because he puts Dr. Ben on shirts and shit and got phrases. But look up who educated these cats. Van Sertima, all them cats was educated by them peoples. Dr. Ben specifically by the Rockefellers. It's in there. Look these motherfuckers up. Look who educated them. And then you tell me they for the people. Dr. Ben educated by the Rockefellers, getting Rockefeller Foundation scholarships and shit. And you telling me he for the people. You educated by them peoples, and you telling us you for the people. He wasn't. And he's definitely a Pan-African, but what does he say, though? He says some good things. There's some little things. That the European has never brought a spiritual system into the world. That is absolutely right. He says a European cannot be spiritual. As a culture, that's right. Now, not as an individual, but as a culture in a whole, it's not a spiritual culture. It is not a spiritual culture. Now, I'm not saying individuals can't be spiritual, but as a culture, it is a religious culture. Because again, they want to control everybody. That's what religion is, a way of control. But just like Dr. Umar, even though he's a scammer, what he said about children, ADD, ADHD, that early work he did, he was spot on. So we keep that little bit. And the scammer, we kicking his ass and like going your way. But he told enough that we should be able to use that shit. He told enough about that, saying, you know, I watch my neighbors. Like my son, they put, you know, what they do with the melanated children, they try to kick them off the bus and they make the state come pick everybody up. I watch them do it to my son. I have 2 twin neighbors and I see they did that to them. You make any fuss on the bus, these Europeans that drive the bus say, hey, they problems. My son got blamed where he didn't even smoke a cigar. His brother's girlfriend lit up a cigar in the back. My son got blamed for it. He ended up getting put off the bus. His brother got to ride the bus to the high school. He got away for the little bus. Remember they called them the little buses, but it's vans. It's not really handicapped children get the little buses. They vans. But I noticed the melanated children, twins that live by me, getting the same treatment. So you see that as an agenda. You know, we don't even want to deal with them. We'll have the state pay. Democrats don't. No, they really haven't. They haven't. That's some Kennedy shit. That came from Kennedy. The brothers and sisters voted for Eisenhower. It wasn't until Kennedy that, you know, you got us from Johnson on. Johnson, you know, this Dixiecrat signed all the bills. What did he do? War on poverty. You know, he only put the war on poverty when he went to West Virginia. And if you want to see how poor white trash lives, look up the movie, the Great Whites of West Virginia, and then look up the movie Jericho White. Look up that shit, how them people live. Them people was dirt poor. Get the book Poor White Trash, 400 Years of Class. Poor White Trash, 400 Years of Class. No, I can't remember the other, but it's basically, the book is called Poor White Trash. Look that book up and look how they look at their subculture. But what they found out with the subculture is the subculture will fight their wars. And that's why I came up with the imbecile psychopath. That is a real thing. They've created imbecile psychopath. Richard Pryor say, what did Richard Pryor say? Richard Pryor said they got Europeans that's chained to walls deep in Louisiana, Georgia. They chained in walls, and then when wars come, they let them out. Because that goes, you know, they use the excuse of Bacon rebellion, but this is what they created. Because really, if you wasn't blue blood, they was trying to sterilize the rest of these motherfuckers. They was trying to sterilize the poor Europeans, so the poor Europeans wouldn't mix with them, the blue bloods. So they wanted to sterilize the rest of them. But then they found out that if we don't have these people fighting for us, we don't have a buffer class, we are going to get attacked. They're going to go after us. And that's who they, you know, again, they put poor white trash in charge of Reconstruction. The lower society in the South. was eventually put it back in charge. Well, put in charge. These were the people that had, again, if you look at skilled labor in the South, it was 99% melanated. This is where the unions come up in Jim Crow. They had to create unions because they were not the skilled workers during Reconstruction, even before. And so if they did not set up these unions to keep the skilled people out, they didn't have jobs. What did 12 Years a Slave show you? This dude was doing contract work all around. That's why that's in a way, that's a great movie. Because it kills the myth of breaking up the families. Because what did they show? The woman went crazy and couldn't work no more. So you think that was a common practice? To create despondent people? The second part they show you, why are they stealing people from the North? Now, D.C. is basically in Virginia, but again, why do they have to take people from the North if they got all these African slaves coming over? That's the second part they show you. Third part they show you is he was going from plantation to plantation, kind of like a contractor. And then the scenes where they busting out teeth and forcing people to, again, they're not going to create despondent people. That makes people despondent. You got to force them to eat. So that shit to say they fought on slavery is a lie. Jim Crow slavery. Let's look at when slavery really started. It started after Reconstruction. That's the shit they try to tell you happened before, happened after. And that shit didn't end. That's why slavery really didn't end until the 60s. The Jim Crow slavery that they put in did not end until the 60s. And some of that shit went into the 70s. And as I said, the way my ex-wife grew up, that shit existed in the 80s even. Because if you look at how she grew up, she graduated 2 years after me in 81. If you looked at how she lived, a lot of you would looked at it as being a slave. A 3-room, no water in the house in the 80s? Do you know how mind-blowing this is to me? I was used to it because I saw sharecropping in the 70s. And brothers, it wasn't just, Latin people. It was brothers that was filling them jobs up too, sharecropping in Michigan. So this shit went much longer than what they want to admit. This shit went longer than what they want to tell you. They don't want to bring up Jim Crow shit. That's where the money should be paid. When they was terrorists and terrorizing people off the land. When they were arresting freedom in the North or in the South, arresting freedom. Mass murdering 20,000 people in New Orleans that fought for him. 10,000 of the troops fought for him. And then massacred all of them, slow death, not giving them rations, not feeding them, keeping them in one area. You look at the Civil War, one of the things that killed people the most was something like dysentery. Because they had to tell these motherfuckers, you can't be shitting where we cleaning up the pans and shit. You know how study the Civil War, sickness ravaged both sides. Because when you put 10,000 people together, if you don't do the sanitation right, it's going to make everybody sick. When you bring large groups of people together, if you don't have all the sanitation and everything right, the food right, people get sick like a motherfucker. That's the biggest probably thing. If you're studying the Civil War, it'll blow your mind, is how many people died of sickness compared to dying in battle because they brought all these large groups of people together. And this ain't nothing that it can't be found. But see, they harp on slavery, but they don't harp on Jim Crow, who was really damaged. They want you to look at some other shit. They don't want you to look at the shit that wasn't that long ago. And I'm born in the early 60s. I was born in 61. So we talking about Jim Crow in the 50s? What my father faced? My father was born in Mississippi. And what my great-grandfather faced? My great-grandfather didn't even want to get his cotton gin because the free cotton gin would keep his seeds. And he saw that was cap. Like, wait a minute, how are you going to take my seeds? What am I going to have to plant to make sure I get this same kind of cotton? You taking my seeds. He saw the game in that shit. He was like, no, I'll slowly gin my own shit. So he built an extension on his house, saved his cotton, ginned his own shit. Because he saw the scam that they was doing. And we've got people that sued these motherfuckers because they would sell them some fucked up seeds. And then they had to go back and try to sue the Europeans. And oh, we didn't know. You know, all kind of ways to sabotage brothers. I mean, there's a sign you can look up as how many billions of acres we once owned in the 20s. 20s ain't that long ago, 100 years ago. We owned billions. Look how many look how many acres of melanated people that had the whole country at one time. And I want to hear that shit where you guys lived on the East Coast. My family went from the East Coast to the Ohio Valley. They went up to Nova Scotia. They went all over. You try to make it seem like they just stayed in one area, you know. Well, you know, they were East Coast people. No. People I come from was fucking whalers. So that means you go up and down the coast and go north. And we went into the Ohio mountains. I get to meditating on that shit, and that shit comes around me. And I'm like, oh shit, the family done been here. I ain't never been there, but I've been there mentally. I've been there. I'm like, oh shit, this is part of our shit too. The mounds is the stars. That's what the mounds are, star mounds. And they destroyed almost all of them. There's only one in this state now. One mound. Wisconsin was a state of mounds, star mounds, all destroyed. Not say all, it's very few left. Oh, get the book. I listened to a dude do a thing on Killers of the Flower Moon. Read that book. That is outstanding historical study. The Osage was the richest motherfuckers in America. They thought they put them on the shittiest land. They were smart enough to keep their mineral rights. Even though they'd sell the land, they still own the minerals. They was the richest people in the country. They was the richest people in the world at one point. This tribe that they put on the shittiest land in Oklahoma became the richest people in the world. The richest people in the world during the early 1900s to about the 30s. They were the richest people in the world. And all of a sudden, the Europeans went in there and say, hey, you guys can't, they put a governor basically over everybody. They put a controller over everybody's money. If you wanted to buy toothpaste, you wanted to buy anything, you had to go to this dude first. And he got a fee every time you got your own money. He got a fee out of your money. This is how shady the government does, because the government wanted that money too. And all the murder. But it's a great book, Killer of the Flower Moons. I rented it from, I got it out of the library first, and I bought a copy. And there's about to be a movie about the shit. Shows how dirty these motherfuckers are. Murderous they are. And how the government, local governments would agree. What do they say? What did H. Rob Brown say? Murder is murder is just like apple pie. Violence is just like apple pie. As American as apple pie. That's what H. Rob Brown said. That was a poster. It was in my bedroom when I was in 3rd grade. I looked at that every night before I went to sleep. Murder is just as American as apple pie. And that's what they've shown. Again, not any individual, but the culture. So there's nothing you can talk about brothers and sisters killing each other. You killed the shit out of us. And that motherfucker came in there and said, that's victimism. No, that's reality. This is Uncle Sam. So you can look all that up. Well, I'm going to do the divination. Damn, I've been going over 2 hours. Wow. Okay, I had a lot to say, I guess. So the card is Ebb. Sorry. Try to get it out the lights, all these goddamn bright-ass lights in my face. And you can see the motherfucker there. Ebb, broom or grass, abundance, harvest, gratitude, chalice, emptiness, open vessel, quickening, electromagnetic tuning. Symbols is the chalice. Numbers 12. The color is bronze wheat. Ooh, I need a bronze wheat suit. Ooh, and some gators, bronze wheat gators. Ooh. Herbs is ginger. Flowers, bird of paradise. Essence is flower essence is rose marcophilia. Abundant supply. The scent is apple blossoms. The stones is rutilated quartz. Quartz touched with golden calcite and pure topaz. Element of fire. It's a fire element. Directions are from the south. So if you want to manifest in this full moon to get an extra push, you got the full moon and you manifest from the south. Shadow wisdom, illusions of fulfillment, abundance, insufficiency, lack, issues of the mind, overvaluing or devaluing the intellect. But the way to transform is become self-nurturing by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. Be willing to know, to be empty so that you can be filled by expanded consciousness. Let me say that again. What do I say? I don't believe. I know and experience. So don't believe. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be filled by expanded consciousness. Befriend your mind, knowing what thoughts are yours and what thoughts are attachments. This is very important. Befriend your mind. Use your body's receptor for higher frequencies. Harmonic wisdom is a resonance. Let me see. The mantra is arms outstretched above the head, then holding the top of the head. Let me see, together to form a V. So I guess you're going kind of like this, and then you would say, "I am the cosmic corpuscella, ever singing through you by the gifts of sprinkling galaxies. I am open chalice. I am the joyful expression of the abundance of the universe." So I'm gonna give a better mantra book, because some of this shit I know they made up. So, but their intentions were good, you know. Please, Lord, forgive me. All my intentions were, please, Lord, don't let me be misunderstood. Shine them up good, going through my neighborhood. That's all I hear when I be driving. Hear the homeboy MC Breeze. Shine them up good, going through my neighborhood. I love that shit. Well, I can't do no more. Used to be an old joke about Patti LaBelle. I can't do no more. So, I'll finish with Mora. Give you the time walking information. Ancestors don't seem to, or the time walking monitors don't seem to penalize me for this. So Mora, this has come directly from the time walking papers. I'm the only one that gives this out. Even Turtle Gang never read this, not one time. But he was the one that gave me this, and he had this, but he doesn't see the importance of it. Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that their exact number of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle, civilization builders. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which they called the Milky Way. And as I said, be able to be the eyes of Laura Marsh as you look at I Am Another Yourself. I give the example of that movie because that's what you can do. You have to be able to, get into their eyes so you can clearly see their point of view. I am another yourself, so treat me like that. And as you lay down in your creation ball field that they want to trick you into telling you it's a bed so they can box you in and they can attack you. But if you look at it as your creation ball field, nothing can attack you because that is your right. And it comes from the creation, so you cannot be attacked in it. Do the proper things. Know that everything is around you will protect you. If you do get crystals, this will enhance you, but you don't need to. What is around you will protect you because you put it around you. And all you have to ask it is the intention of protecting, but you do have to ask it. You do have to activate that shit. The shit's around you. You're like, hey, this shit's fucking with me tonight. What y'all in here for? I'm going to throw all this shit out. Some of y'all, something's got to work. Why do you think, But I mean, you put that stuff in your house because of love, because it hit a vibration with you. So whatever you put around you, it'll work. You just got to activate it. Remember, love just is. Love just is. And so for those of you that are working tonight and listening to me as you work, remember that you are protected. May you go to the rest of your shift safely. May you drive home safely. May you get all the rest you need. And if you whatever time you listen to this, just know that you are enough. that you are enough, that there's somebody that loves you. And if you love somebody, that's even the better. Because that's, the witch is right. Love her above. That's the vibration. That's why I say R&B music that we created, our culture created for 2-3 minutes will put you in some of the highest love you could ever want to be in. It's you that I need, baby. It's you that I need. I'm lonely. It's you that I need. Why do you think that ain't on the radio anymore? Why do you think that kind of music ain't on the radio anymore? Unless you turned it serious or but why do you think that's not on the popular radio anymore? Remember CB40? What did they say? Do you talk about bitches? Do you hold your dick? Do you put guns? Do you talk about killing another one of your kind? You got all these dudes making rap songs talking about they selling rocks and shit, and I'm like, who the fuck buys rocks anymore? Who stands on the corner anymore? You got dudes too young to have that experience. Whereas it used to be a thing to just sit under the lights and harmonize. That's what young brothers used to do. 2 things: harmonize or tell jokes on each other. And telling jokes on each other makes you quick-witted. Makes you respond like this, quick-witted. Being able, they call it play the dozens, talk shit. Makes you be quick. This is the culture we come from. Culture of love. Where I want to get with cats and harmonize with them. You see how they don't want that? They killed that 3-minute love because they don't want that vibration out there. They want the vibrations fucked up. They don't want you to have love or above. They want you to be in low vibration, in the reds. They want you to be fearful, paranoid, the boogeyman. If I don't wear, people still all mask up like the Lone Ranger. Why? Why? Some are for agenda. When you see these pro games and you see people Lone Ranger in the program, they're agenda people. But you got some people so scared, so conditioned, they're going to wear that shit the rest of their lives. Watch what I'm saying. There are going to be people that wear masks the rest of their lives. In your lifetime, they're going to be wearing masks, regardless of the ingenuity of the new stuff. They still think they need that. And you see how they got the scares going around. China, again, scared. North Korea, scared. All that shit with North Korea. And they got that shit's some bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They need the face of evil. So they made this disease the face of evil. Remember, for a long time, it was Bin Laden's, But yet, there's a beautiful book you can get out there. It's called The Bush and the Bin Ladens. If you think that Bin Laden shit was real, get the book, The Bushes and the Bin Ladens, and how long they did business, and how when every other plane was grounded, the Bin Ladens was able to fly out of America. Why is that? Why did they fly that family out? Hey, Lobo, I still people in their 70s wearing masks at the store. There you go. There you go. There's people that ain't gonna never get rid of that shit. I'm working with people, and it's just funny as shit. And they ain't got the proper doctor mask. They still got that cloth shit. So you see, it's a psyop. They're telling you on the news the cotton masks are not the proper ones if you're really trying to protect. They say get the doctor mask. But what do you see people wearing? The cotton ones. So they struck the only strike I got on this channel was over a year ago for me saying this shit. What the harm is doing to children. And talking about the cotton mask a year ago. That's the only strike this channel got. Like last January, I was talking this shit. When I put this channel was new. They gave me a strike for that. But now that's common knowledge. You see how they do on this stuff? People can say the same thing and their channels ain't getting struck down. Like conspiracy say, putting out these positive thoughts and putting out this information on the beast. And don't think all this stuff don't come from the beast. Don't think it does. I mean, even though we can profit off of this, we know where it comes from. So it's like, just because you're on the mountain of shit, remember, it's still shit under you. Just because you're on the mountain and they put your office on the mountain of shit, it's still shit under you. Do you feel me? It's still shit under you. Just because you're above the shit, sitting above it, you still on the shit. So we are still using the system of the beast. The beast monitors all. That is the mind. That is, remember, the architect in the matrix. This is the beast. The beast loves this game. That's why I say the egghead person that's doing the manipulating with the missile system and the magnetics, they love this shit. Because now he has to worry about, they got a person for the missile technology, the magnetics, and then they got a person trying to do the online betting. They've been waiting for this. They love this shit. They love it's like this now because it's more corrupted. The corruption is out in the open. In the 70s, you had Pete Rozelle talking about, I don't think gambling's going to work. But yet, from its inception, all the commissioners dealt with gamblers under the guise of we need to know where the funny money is. No, it's especially football from its inception. I don't think this is the book. It had a picture of Myra. I don't think it's this book. I think it was the other book I had. I lost a really valuable book. It had the history of football, not just this is the history of pro football. It had the history of football. And I don't think this book has those pictures. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that other book. Yeah, because this doesn't have any of the owners in it. This is just players. But like looking at all these games, going back to the first championship game they show in this book. Okay. And you can look at these dates. December 17th, 1933, the game ends up 23-21. The thing that stands out in this book, there's a picture of this. There's a movie of this play. Is you got the last player playing without a helmet. His name is Hewitt. And he laterals the car for the game when he touchdown. In 1933, the score is 23-21. Now, you don't think that's a fake play right there? I had Zach and Derek. Derek invented the Gematonator. I had them break this down. I forget how they broke this down. But this is not real. This is Hollywood shit. I mean, all these dates for these championship games, and this is 1933. 1937. The score is 28-21. Redskins win. Then they turn around in 1940. The Bears beat the Reds. Okay, here, let me go back. Okay. So 1937, the Redskins beat the Bears 28-21. 1940, the Bears beat the Redskins 73-0. Same quarterback for Washington, Sammy Ball. But they lose a game 73-0. So do you see how this has always been corrupted? It ain't never. I mean, come on, 73 to a team that made the championship? 1950, Cleveland Browns beat Philadelphia Eagles 35-10. They play with a white football. Look at what happened when they started playing under the lights. I don't know if any of y'all know this. They used to play with a white football. See that? That's because they played under the lights. They played with a white football. I don't know if y'all knew that. Let me see, what was that? That was, okay, so that's September. And then in December of 1950, you have the Browns beating the Rams. Now, what's interesting is they show a game where one team wore tennis shoes and they're able to grip the field better because the field's frozen. Everybody knows that you wore old Chuck Taylors, that they grip on snow and ice pretty good. You see that? One player wearing tennis shoes. Otto Graham's wearing tennis shoes. You see the Rams player wearing cleats. Better gripping with the tennis shoes. But they tell you how a game is fixed like that. Then, of course, we have the sudden death game of 1958. We have the Colts and the Giants, sudden death. But all of them were fixed. Not some, not a couple, all are fixed. Date, month, and Cornell, I think. You remember the 5th down, that Ivy League game from way back? Dartmouth and Cornell. I went through that. We had a TV game. We was playing, I talk about Willie Toten. We was playing the year before Jerry Rice came, because I'm a year older. I want to say I'm 2 years ahead of Jerry Rice, but yeah, because when we played down there, I was a sophomore. So yeah, I'm 2 years ahead. I think me and Willie Toten is the same age. We beat their ass down there. We beat them down there. They was on the goal line at the end of the game. And again, this is a TV game, TV timeouts and everything. We play in Mississippi Valley in Mississippi. My boy, Governor, I talked about this before, where he got his ankle destroyed on a clip, not called. I mean, the dude was right in front of the ref and hit him from behind, right on his ankle, destroyed his ankle, ended up having to put screws and everything. But we stopped him on 1st down. We stopped him on 2nd down. We stopped him on 3rd down. Then it was a TV timeout. 4th down, all of a sudden it's another TV timeout. They gave him 5 downs. Our defense stopped him all 5 times. And when we was on the TV program the next, that Saturday, the coaches show, they showed it was 5 plays. Yeah, they tried to cheat us, and we still beat their ass. But Willie Toten was slinging that rock. But that was a game where I cracked back on this safety. The rest of the game, that motherfucker was looking for me, because we had one option play, and he turned his head, boom! I knocked it. And he was tall. He was about 6'4", but he was kind of thin. But as soon as he turned, I was right there and knocked him off his feet. So the rest of the game, he was looking like this. The rest of the game, when he saw me flanked on that side, he was looking to see where I was. Because if he saw that motion coming, he knew that if he wasn't looking for me, I was going to be looking for his ass. I got him good. And the rest of the play, he hesitated to go with the flow, because he made sure that he did not get blocked by me again. But I got his ass good. As soon as he turned, boom, knocked him right off his fucking feet. And the rest of the game, he like this. And you can't play strong safety when you're worried about the flanker. So be safe, everybody. Enjoy the summer days. I'll say this. Recognize your environment, men, women. Recognize your environment. Recognize everybody around you. Pay attention to all this shit around you. Don't be going places and, you're looking at your phone and shit. Life is serious. Life is serious. So as you move through, you have to have a arrogance of seriousness, because bullshit bounces off of a serious person. So you want bullshit to bounce off you. So you got to pay attention to it all. Pay attention to your surroundings. Motherfucker, you got something, you wear gold, whatever, bust people out. What the fuck are you looking at me for? Some people would be cool, like a dude, like I wear this ring because this ring is too big to play with, so I wear it around my chain. I don't like leaving jewelry out like that, so I wear it around my chain when I play. The dude, like, what is that, a championship ring or some shit? That was harmless. We just playing pickleball. We sitting taking a drink. That was harmless. All right, there was no threat to him. I would have whooped his ass and his friend. So even at 60, they was in their 50s, I would have whooped both their asses. And my car wasn't fire. And there's always some type of weapon in my car. So, it came down to that. I'm pretty ready for that. And probably in my duffel bag. I think it was a pistol in my duffel bag. I forget about that. I take my gun everywhere I go because I'm paranoid. But, just take life serious. Every moment is serious. I'll say that's what it is. Every moment is serious. So take it serious. Be serious about how you do your business. Be serious how you move around. And then, as I said, bullshit bounces off if you're serious. You tend to bullshit bounce off you. People don't bother you when you're serious. You paying attention. Motherfucker, look at you. Say what's on your mind. You know me? I mean, don't be afraid to say that to people. Young niggas need to hear that sometime. You don't have to beat them, but just know you can hurt them. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to beat them, But you gotta let them know that if they fuck with you, you can hurt them. That ain't got no color. Like it's like, yeah, no, I can't beat you up, but I will hurt you still. You gotta have that mentality. And that ain't aimed at any one culture. It's just that's the way things are. You know, you always have to feel, you know, from power. So, well, y'all, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky host. What's the hat say? Like shit, nigga, what the heck? Okay. Now this is Big Pontiac. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the input. I appreciate it. You give me energy, and glad I'm here to chop it up. And as I always say, give y'all the give you the wear energy, the transformation energy. Give that to y'all. As you go on through this full moon, have this transformation energy. And so, till we meet again, say less.